Hello guys, so this is a brief chart about how audit happens. Here, everything is there in this chart from SA 200 to SA 700. So, in this, we will understand how audit happens. But before understanding how audit happens, we should understand what is audit. So, in the last video we understood what is audit, what are the objective of audit, different types of audit, and advantages of audit. So let's have one quick revision of it. So we understood what is audit. Audit is an independent examination of financial information of any entity, whether profit oriented or not, irrespective of its size and legal structure, with a view to express an opinion. Then we understood there are two type of audit required under law and voluntary audit. In audit required under law make it compulsory for entities to perform audit, and in voluntary audit there is no legal requirement, but all companies perform audit to gain advantages of audit of financial statement. There are, we learned eight advantages of audit of financial statement. That is, audit help in getting sanctions. It is helpful in negotiating for loans and determining purchase consideration. It safeguard the threat of it safeguard the interest of person not associated with management, for example shareholders and bankers. It act as a moral check of the employees. It help in settling liability, helpful in detection of wastages and losses, identify weakness and inadvocacy, settling account at the time of admission and death. So these are the eight advantages of audit of financial statement. Then after that we learned overall objective of independent auditor. So as per SA 200, SA 200 states overall objective of independent auditor and conduct of audit in accordance with SA. So, according to SA 200, overall objective of independent auditor is to obtain reasonable assurance about financial statement are free from material misstatement or not. Then check whether financial statement are prepared as per applicable FRF before expressing an opinion, to report on financial statement and communicate as per SA. So this is objective of audit. Then after that we saw four keywords, that is material misstatement, reasonable assurance, sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, and uh, general purpose financial statement. General purpose financial statement consists of balance sheet, P&L, cash flow statement, notes to accounts, and statement of changes in equity. Notes to accounts consist of companies company's information, corporate, that is corporate information, significant accounting policies, and other notes which we made under balance sheet. So first there is corporate information, then significant accounting policies, then other notes. Then objective of auditor was to obtain reasonable assurance. What is reasonable assurance? Reasonable assurance is high but not an absolute level of assurance. Absolute assurance implies 100% assurance, which gives true 100% assurance. Therefore we give true and fair view. True and fair implies reasonable assurance, which is high level of assurance, and true and absolute assurance, that is true and correct view, that is 100% assurance. We give reasonable assurance, not absolute assurance. Auditor is required to obtain reasonable assurance whether financial statement are free from material mistake or not. Okay, thus auditor obtains sufficient and appropriate audit evidence to reduce audit risk to acceptable low level. However, reasonable assurance is not absolute assurance. This is due to inherent limitations of audit. We understood what is sufficient. Refers to quantity and appropriate refers to the quality. An audit evidence is any information used by the auditor in arriving at the conclusion on which auditor's opinion is based on. So it is any information which help the auditor to arrive at the conclusion on which his opinion is based on. It include both accounting records as well as other information. So we auditor obtained reasonable assurance whether financial statement are free from material misstatement or not. What is material misstatement? Material refers to the quantity that in auditor's judgment influence the decision of the user. Material is a big quantity, in such a big quantity that in auditor's judgment it will influence the decision of user of financial statement. And misstatement is difference between amount, classification, presentation, disclosure of reported financial statement and which should have been reported as per applicable FRF. So all this four meaning was related to the objective of the auditor. We learned what is reasonable assurance, what is material misstatement. Then we also learned what is sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Audit risk we will learn in chapter 3. What happened in chapter 3? Okay, so now let's learn what is inherent limitation. Due to this inherent limitation, we are not able to give absolute assurance, that is 100% assurance. Therefore we are giving reasonable assurance. And in audit report we say financial statement have true and fair view. Okay, now let's understand what are the inherent limitations. So audit risk cannot be zero, therefore auditor cannot obtain absolute assurance. So let's basically, audit risk is the risk that auditor give wrong opinion. So there is always that risk that auditor will give wrong opinion. It can This risk cannot be zero, therefore we do not give absolute assurance, therefore cannot obtain absolute assurance. This is because of inherent limitations of audit. So what are the inherent limitation of audit? Inherent limitation of audit arises from nature of financial reporting and nature of audit procedure. So in financial reporting, uh, there are subjective decisions, there is degree of uncertainty, there is acceptable interpretation. In some cases there are judgments. Subjective decision like provision, we create provision which is subjective. How much provision should we create? 5% of debtors or 10% of debtors? So this is subjective, there will always be a debate in it. And there is degree of uncertainty in case of litigation, whether it should be contingent liability or whether it should be a liability. So there is degree of uncertainty in it, or whether we should make provision or not. In case of litigation, there is some degree of uncertainty. There is acceptable level of interpretation. We can interpret this thing in different ways. There are judgments involved like estimates, value of like value of depreciation, etc. So due to such subjective uncertain elements in financial statement, we cannot obtain absolute assurance, there will always be a debate. So due to the nature of financial reporting, the nature of financial reporting itself becomes a inherent limitation for audit. Then next is nature of audit procedure. there is practical and legal limitation to obtain audit evidence. So the second point talks about nature of audit procedure. Nature of audit procedure is such that practical and legal limitation becomes hurdle for auditor. That let's talk about first talk about practical limitation. While obtaining audit evidence, there can be some practical limitations, like management or other party may not provide complete information. So management itself doesn't give incomplete information. How can we give 100% assurance on it? It can be intentional or unintentional. So this become a first point, that management or other party may not provide complete information intentionally or unintentionally. Next point is fraud are sophisticated and carefully organized. So our audit procedure and audit evidence may be ineffective due to that sophisticated and carefully organization. All clues are hidden, फुल साफ सफाई हो गई है, खूनी प्रोफेशनल है, वो सोफिस्टिकेटेडली फ्रॉड करके चला गया. सो सच सोफिस्टिकेटेड एंड केयरफुली ऑर्गेनाइज फ्रॉड cannot be detected by us. So our audit procedure and on audit evidence will become ineffective, and such intentional misstatement due to collision or false documentation may not be detected by the auditor, because auditor is not trained for document authentication. So we can first of all, if we talk about false documentation, we are not trained for document authentication. Second, if there is collision, how can we find if we ask everyone and everyone said same thing and मिली भगत है सब कुछ, तो फिर it is difficult for auditor to find the find misstatement in such cases. And we also don't have any legal power for investigation, and nor we are expected to do that. So in audit we are not expected to do investigation. Okay, so due to this legal and practical limitation, we cannot give 100% assurance. So this become our inherent limitation. Next inherent limitation is timeliness of financial reporting, that audit report should be given on particular time. And the second is that balance between benefit and cost should be maintained by the company. Of course, if this is not maintained, we'll go in loss and CA will die. So due to but here, time, difficulty or cost is not valid base for the auditor to omit audit procedures. So auditor cannot escape from doing audit procedure as per SA because of time, difficulty or cost. Let it cost anything, auditor should perform audit procedure as per SA. But balance should be struck between reliable information and cost. We cannot do 100% checking, but we should pick up good sample. So balance would be struck between reliable information and cost. Fourth point is other matters. Other matters affecting limitation of audit includes future event may cause going concern issues, that in future company won't be a going concern itself, so everything changes. Now in case of corona, this is a highly this have high chances that company can go for liquidation. So future events may cause going concern issues. Next, fraud done by senior manager and collision is difficult to find out. So due to fraud done by senior management and collusion, future event may cause going concern issue. Third, existence of related party relationship, that employee is giving orders to his relative only. So such things can misinterpret the financial statement. And then non-compliance of laws and regulation. So these four things are also big issues which create inherent limitations of audit. So due to all these things, auditor cannot give 100% or absolute assurance. Therefore, it gives true and fair view, that is reasonable assurance. Okay, so let's have one quick revision about of inherent limitation. It is very simple. First, in nature of financial reporting, it talk about subjective decision, etc. In audit procedure, practical and legal limitation. In practical limitation, management, and then fraud. And then fraud can be intentionally misstatement. Then in a legal limitation, we don't have legal power for investigation, and nor we are expected. Then in timeliness, time, difficulty, and cost, not valid base for auditor to omit audit evidence, but balance should be struck between reliable information and cost. And in other matters, there are four things. First is future event. This is related to our first point also that uh, uncertainties. So this is similar to first point. Second one is similar to our second point about fraud. Fraud can be sophisticated, and if senior management is involved, it is difficult to find out, and our audit procedures and audit evidence may be ineffective. This second point is related to our second point. Then third is existence of related party relationship. We all know how fraud is, how much common this fraud is there of related party relationship. Then non-compliance of laws and regulation. This is basic point, no need of any explanation. So very easy thing. For 4 points, in fourth point we need to give once like summary. Still we will read once so you won't forget. Let's read together inherent limitation. So in introduction we should write this: audit risk cannot be zero, therefore cannot obtain absolute assurance. Audit risk cannot be zero, therefore cannot give absolute assurance. Why? This is why cannot we give absolute assurance? Because of inherent limitation of audits. So what are the inherent limitation of audit? We divide this answer in 4 points. First is nature of financial reporting. Nature of financial reporting is such that it involves subjective decision like provisions, degree of uncertainties, in case of litigations, acceptable interpretations, and judgments and estimates. Due to such nature of financial reporting, we cannot obtain absolute assurance. Second is due to the nature of audit procedure. There is practical and legal limitation to obtain audit evidence. Therefore, due to practical and legal limitations, we cannot obtain 100% audit evidence. Therefore, so what are these practical and legal limitations? In practical limitation, management or other parties may not provide complete information intentionally or unintentionally. Then fraud can be sophisticated and carefully organized. Therefore, our audit procedure and audit evidence may be ineffective. Then such intentional misstatement due to collision and false documentation may not be detected by the auditor, cause auditor is not trained for document authentication. Then there is no legal power for given to auditor for investigation, nor is he expected to. Then third point is timeliness of financial reporting and benefit between cost and balance between cost and benefit. So here first point we will write that time, difficulty and cost is not a valid base for auditor to omit an audit procedure. This is common sense point that we cannot give such silly reasons that like time, difficulty and cost for omitting audit procedures, but we need to keep balance between reliable information and cost because we need to survive. Then in fourth point I say it is a summary point. In fourth we need to write other matters affecting limitation of audit. This include first point is related to subjective decisions, uncertainties. From uncertainties we need to take future events may cause going concern issues. From in second point we need to talk about fraud made by senior management and due to collision are difficult to detect by the auditor. Then third, existence of related party relationship, and fourth, non-compliance of laws and regulations. So this four are the limitation of audit. Simple. So let's check what all we have done till now. We understood what is audit, then we understood what are type of audit, advantages of audit of financial statement, objective of audit, inherent limitation of audit, material what is material misstatement, absolute and reasonable assurance, sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Then what is financial information. Now scope and aspects of audit is remaining. So let's move forward for it. Scope. So scope of audit. Auditor is expected to perform duties. Auditor is not expected to perform duties outside the scope of his competence. Auditor is not expected to perform duties outside the scope of his competence. Auditor should ensure that financial statement would not mislead anybody. How will it ensure that financial statement will not mislead anybody? By checking whether financial statement are clean and unambiguous and are prepared as per applicable FRF. Auditor should cover all aspects of enterprise relevant for the audit of financial statement. Financial statement should be drawn with reference to books of accounts. Books of accounts are advocate and books of accounts should be advocate and should support sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Books of accounts should not omit any entries. Very easy 8 points. बस ऊपर के वर्ड से नीचे का सेंटेंस बनाना है. लाइक हमारा क्वेश्चन है स्कोप ऑफ ऑडिट. सो ऑडिटर शुड नॉट गो आउटसाइड द स्कोप ऑफ ऑडिट. कॉमन सेंस पॉइंट. ऑडिटर इज नॉट एक्सपेक्टेड टू परफॉर्म ड्यूटीज आउटसाइड द स्कोप ऑफ ऑडिट. जो स्कोप ऑफ ऑडिट है उसके अंदर ही रहना चाहिए ऑडिटर. उसके बाहर जाने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है उसको. सो फर्स्ट पॉइंट वेरी इजी. Auditor is not expected to perform duties outside the scope of audit. तो स्कोप ऑफ ऑडिट क्या है? स्कोप ये है कि उसको इंश्योर करना है. सॉरी ये क्या हुआ? हाँ, ऑडिटर को इंश्योर करना है कि फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट विल नॉट मिसलीड एनीबडी. तो स्कोप है फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट वुड नॉट मिसलीड एनीबडी. ये उसको इंश्योर करना है. तो अपना स्कोप है कि फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट किसको मिसलीड नहीं करते, ये इंश्योर करना। इसके बाहर अपने को जाना है, स्कोप के बाहर अपने को जाना नहीं है। तो कब वो मिसलीड नहीं करेगा, जब फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट क्लीन एंड अनएम्बिगियस रहेंगे एंड व्हेन इट वुड बी है प्रिपेयर्ड विद एप्लीकेबल FRF. It won't mislead anybody when it is clean and unambiguous and are prepared as per applicable FRF. And auditor should cover all aspect of enterprise relevant for the audit of financial statement. All aspect of enterprise relevant for the audit should be covered. All auditors should cover all aspects, should not leave any aspect. He should cover all aspect of enterprise relevant for the audit of financial statement. So whatever it is relevant for audit of financial statement, he should cover all those aspects. Then next point is connector. I call this point as connector point. Financial statement should be drawn with a reference to books of accounts. So from the first word scope we took this point, then from second sentence from mislead we took these 2 points, and from financial statement we took this point. From financial statement we took connected with books of accounts. Then books of account should be advocate and should support sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, and books of account should not omit any entries. So very easy 8 points. And when will all this happen? When auditor evaluate books accounting system and internal control, and by performing test procedure. So by evaluating accounting system and internal control, and by performing test procedure, he could check all these points. Okay, the easy points, let's revise. Auditor is not expected to perform duties outside the scope of competence. Auditor should ensure financial statement would not mislead anybody. He will ensure when will it not mislead anybody? When financial statement would be clean and unambiguous, and when it would be have prepared with applicable FRF. Auditor should cover all aspect of enterprise relevant for the audit of financial statement. Auditor should cover all aspect of enterprise relevant for the audit of financial statement. Then financial statement should be drawn with reference to books of account, and books of account should be advocate and should support sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, and books of accounts should not omit any entries. So easy 8 points. One final last revision. Scope of audit. Auditor is not expected to perform duties outside the scope of competence. Auditor should ensure financial statement would not mislead anybody. Financial statement should be clean and unambiguous, and financial statement should be prepared as per applicable FRF. Auditor should cover all aspects of enterprise relevant for the audit of financial statement, and financial statement should be drawn with reference to books of accounts, and books of accounts should be advocate and should support sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, and books of accounts should not omit any entries. Very easy. Let's move ahead. Next point is next question is aspects to be covered in audit. We will do that in next video. Till then, goodbye.